What's up, y'all? This is your girl, Lady E, checking in with y'all tonight with Enter the Lab. Excuse my voice because, really, to be honest with you, I was out screaming. So, shout out to them Grayson Rams out there winning the Georgia State champ for 6A. So, shout out to them. Very good game last night. Juju is who they said he was. He really is. So, shout out to them and Carrollton High School. But speaking of high school, we need to talk about college football because tomorrow is the day and this weekend. So we're going to see what some of these teams talking about. And I guess my team is back in the spotlight once again as we switch over to Penix. And then we're going to talk about tonight's game and then the games of the week and kind of figure out where this playoff is going to go. But at the end of the day, we about to enter the lab. What's up? What's up? What's up, C-Hen? What's up?
What's good, Lady E? Man,
How are
happy
you, man?
holidays. Happy holidays. We done
Let us
made it.
know. Okay, I'm sorry.
We done made it, man. We done made it almost to the end of the year. I think I'm mentally checked out from work. I do have one more day out. I'll do a couple of hours in there, but I think mentally right now I'm checking out, man. I'm happy to be here. Football Palooza is upon us, man. What's going on with you, Lady E?
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm really over here chilling. Son's last day is tomorrow. He has passed all of his classes, so
That's
I
what's up.
am
That's
one
what's
proud
up.
mama. Because I'm not worried about this test that he has tomorrow. To be quite frank and honest with you, and the only reason that is because it's his art class, and that's what he loves to do. So we are going to go into this break very happy and all of the above. So I just cannot wait. And then, like I said, school won state champs. So yeah, Grayson is running the state of Georgia right now. Love it.
That's what I'm saying, man. Basketball, football. I see. I say what women's basketball, ladies basketball. I see nothing
Yes.
but good things over there.
Yeah. Look, very good jeans over here in the north. But no, let's go ahead and jump right on in. We have us some football tonight, but we definitely have some college football tomorrow. Indiana versus Notre Dame, and then the rest of the group goes. So let's start with that game first. Indy versus Notre Dame. Now, Ian, I'm gonna ask you this question. Do you think that Notre Dame has it in them to beat the likes of Indy, or do you think that Notre Dame might fold?
I'm gonna tell you, man. There's a couple of compelling games in this first round of games, and this is one of them. I think that when you look at Indiana, no one is really gonna, think that they're a football power. Look at them as a football power and give them much
Mhm.
of a shot in this football game. But I look at Notre Dame, and I don't know exactly who they played this year. I don't know really when you look at their strength of schedule, who exactly did they really knock off. This is a big game for them. They've been kind of out of the spotlight, if you will, for a few years.
Mhm.
Marcus Freeman, it's his first time to kind of put his stamp on the organization or the school of his legacy, if you will. And I'm gonna tell you, man, I think it's the spread right now is 7.5. I think I might be taking Indiana on the points, but again, because it's an interstate game, I think there might be a big Indiana presence there. Um, Pressure is definitely on, but I think Notre Dame can pull this game out. But I wouldn't be surprised if Indiana pulls an upset.
I mean, I can see it too. I mean, again, Notre Dame is not big or known um, too much on the front of anytime they come into the playoffs, they're a powerhouse. I'm same sentiments as you. I'm not sure who they played in that regard. I mean, the USC did give them a fight. I will say that, but a lot of people want to credit them for the win against Army. And I'm like, if you know who Army is, you know for a simple fact that anybody can kind of beat Army, to be honest with you. Just saying.
Not anybody.
I love Army
They're
though.
doing like
I
that.
love it.
They were ranked where they played. They were, you know what I'm saying, at that point in time. They were,
At that point in time, but at the end of the day,
since
it's
then
gonna
it
have that
definitely fell
question.
off a little bit. It definitely fell
Yeah,
off.
yeah, but it's still that question of can they do it? And Indiana has a lot to prove, and I believe they're going to be playing with a chip on their shoulder because going undefeated for most of the season, your only loss is to Ohio State. You had opportunity to play in the Big Ten championship to really show something, and yeah, they did look discombobulated against Ohio State. To be honest with you, but this is the same Ohio State who lost to Michigan. So
I feel like
uh,
in that Ohio State game, there was a couple of instances where they gave up some points. I
yes.
believe they had gave up a punt return in that game, if not two,
Mm-hmm.
or a pick six in that game. My memory's kind of foggy, but I believe there was two instances where they basically resulted in like 14 points for Ohio State. They did kind of settle down as the game went
Mm-hmm.
on, and then Ohio State kind of pulled away. Indiana has that same question that I have for Notre Dame. Exactly who did they play? They did beat Michigan. They played Ohio State, but they didn't. I don't believe they played. They did not play Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
So some questions there. But again, though, for the first time in the 12-team playoff, I mean, they may not even, they not even know. They may not even know they're not supposed to be here. You know what I mean? A lot of transfer players from James Madison who were used to playing on that subdivision level, who are used
Yeah.
playoff type situations. Again, maybe not ready for the big lights, but they do have some type of experience in the playoff
Yeah.
situation. So very interesting to see, and the coach coming from James Madison. So very interesting to see how this game plays out on
Yeah,
Friday.
no, I'm definitely want to see how this game play out and see if Indiana can give Notre Dame a run for their money. Because again, like I said, Notre Dame is a good team. I just don't know I know their strength, but I don't know their weakness because we haven't kind of really seen that be exploded a little bit. Even with the USC game, USC kind of gave that game away to them a little bit, but I can tell just by looking at Notre Dame, they really can't stop the run like that. They're good on pass protection, but I just on defense wise, I just did not see anything that showed me that they were able to stop the run. And Indiana is they like to run, they can run, but they're more so of a passing team. So I don't know if that's going to match up. But if you look at them side by side and look at the numbers and look at the stats, Indiana kind of got Notre Dame a little bit. They kind of got them in some areas and some facets. So
I think the biggest key in this game is going to be the trenches. Can these
yep.
teams, especially the teams, the underdogs, if you will, can they match these other teams' physicality in the trenches? Is going to be key. Watch out for the quarterback for Indiana too. I believe last name Rourke made some big plays against Michigan. Stood in the pocket, took some big hits, and was able to deliver some very, very, very accurate deep balls. So definitely keep your eye on him in this game.
Definitely, definitely. Let's see. Who else do we have tomorrow? I'm trying to remember at the top of my head while my phone is tripping on me. We have SMU and then Penn State on Saturday.
On Saturday, yeah.
On Saturday. So we have them two.
I'm trying to
Um,
put my Big Ten bias aside. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to put it aside, but hey man, I think that's gonna be an interesting game. Another game, I'm interested to see what SMU can do. Can they match the physicality of Penn State in the trenches? Penn State traditionally has a strong defense, but again, though, I don't know how consistent they can be offensively. If this game becomes
yes.
somewhat of a shootout, if Penn State has to score 24 or more points. Can they do that? I know we saw Drew Aller have some moments this season. They had, definitely scored some points in the big
Mm-hmm.
game. But again, though, this is the same team. Well, I shouldn't say the same team, but this is the same quarterback that I saw last year. Couldn't get it done against a tough Michigan defense. Michigan was able to run the football 40 times and the whole second half against them, even though they were a tough defensive team. Can
Yeah.
they put some offensive firepower, some offensive ingenuity into their game plan and put some points up on the board? Because I think SMU, if they can score 24 or more, they can make that game very, very, very interesting. Again, some of these lines on these early games are kind of exciting to me. This one has an 8.5-point line. Penn State is favored. Again, Penn State, as far as I know, doesn't fare very well in these big games.
Big games. They don't.
Consistently losing to Ohio State, consistently losing to some of these other teams outside of the conference. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm eager to see how they step up. It's going to be a whiteout. They're playing an early game. SMU, they're located in Dallas. Am I correct? Are they going to be able to be used to the, this type of cold, happening down here in
Well,
December?
so let me explain something about the Dallas Fort Worth area. They're not going to be they're I'm not going to say that they're used to it, but I will say this. It gets cold in the D as
Mm,
well. They had a couple of days where it's been real 30 degrees freezing. So I feel like I don't think that that really actually matters for them. I think right now they got something to prove because how they came back on Clemson, literally like you said before, even with Indiana, they're one of those teams that are going to play you all 4 quarters. But once they get settled down, you gotta kind of watch out for them, and that kind of showed in the Clemson game because it took a field goal for them to win, to be honest. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to knock off Penn State because Penn State gave Oregon a hell of a game. They gave them
oh
a
yeah,
hell of a
yes they
game in the
did.
Big Ten championship. But again, I'm not going to sit over here and say Penn State should underestimate little SMU because I feel like when you're a team that has a chip on their shoulder, and especially kind of how they had that game with Clemson, and they literally came back and could have sent it to overtime and possibly won, then that just shows me that they're hungry for it. One mistake from Penn State, that's it. But again, Penn State got a decent defense. They got a decent defense, so I do want to see that. SMU is a little bit of a smaller team, especially kind of in the trenches. So I do want to see what the trenches are going to look like up against SMU. But I'm going to say they're going to give out a lot of fight.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And again, that spread of 8.5, man, that's very, very enticing.
Is
I got a little long shot parlay going on where send a nice little turnaround, take some of these points in some of these games. Maybe not all of them, but what I'm saying, don't be
Oh
scared
Lord,
to take some of these points on one or two of these playoff games. Who you
Lord.
did we get your pick on that game? You going with Penn State?
I'm an underdog girl. I'm
Okay.
going for the underdogs. I'm going for Indy and I'm going for SMU. It's not because I lived out there in Dallas. It's because hey, I don't want to see. I want to see what this 12 playoff can really actually do.
Is it worth
Is
it?
it
Huh? Is it worth it?
yeah? Is it worth it? Is it really giving these teams like a SMU, a Boise State, a Indiana an opportunity to really get out here and play with the big dogs, as a lot of people call it, or these blue blood schools? Let's see if this is even worth it. If not, then yeah, let's go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, I'm
That's
with
just
you.
me.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with
So the last 2 games are the talk of the town. Not saying that Indiana, Notre Dame, SMU, or Penn State are not, but a lot of people are definitely are going to be focused on these last 2 games of Clemson versus Texas, and then Tennessee versus Ohio State. Started with Clemson versus Texas. Clemson got in into the playoffs by the hair of their chinny chin, literally. Could have been an overtime game. Possibly SMU could have lost. But Clemson kicked I forgot what the yardage because that was so long
you.
ago.
Like
But
56.
56. Okay, I was gonna say like around 50. Kicked the field goal and won the game. So now they're traveling good old to Austin, Texas, to Texas, who remind everybody lost twice to Georgia in 1 year. But
Mm.
traveling to Clemson, traveling to Austin to play those Texas Longhorns. Now, here's what a lot of people are saying. They're not trusting Dabo Swinney because one, Dabo doesn't go into the portal. They're not trusting Dabo Swinney because they feel like he is cocky and that he has a opinion about portal people, and that as it shows, his team didn't have a portal people and he's in the playoffs. A lot
They
of
ain't
people
had a
are
portal people. They ain't had a PPs. They ain't had a portal people.
portal
Huh?
people. They didn't have a portal people. Then you got them saying that they're playing Texas. Texas is going to win by double digits. Some are saying Texas is going to be BTA. So I don't know. What do you think, Henry?
I'm gonna tell you what. Texas has shown some vulnerability this
Mm-hmm.
season. You look at their body of work; they really haven't played nobody, and when they did play somebody, which you've mentioned, Georgia, they lost both games. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I will give Dabo this. He does have some experience in these games. He has some experience in these playoffs. He has an experienced quarterback. He has an offensive attack that I think can, um, threaten Texas, if you will. I don't think Texas has been a dominant
Yeah.
defensive team. They've been solid at times, but I don't think they're dominant. They got a nice cornerback over there, but I think that this game, again, when you look at it, I feel like Texas can win it, but this is a game that I also can see Clemson winning this game if they can match the toughness and the physicality in the trenches. That's just the what it comes down to again for a lot of these underdogs. If they can do that, I feel that again the elements aren't going to be overwhelming.
Yeah.
Again, the moment may not be too big, and again, Texas has been pushed around a little bit. They've shown
Mm-hmm.
some vulnerability in some of these big games. The quarterback play has shown to be some at times inconsistent. Which Quinn Ewers are you going to get? So, with all that being said, this is a game that I think Clemson can win. I am going to go with the favorite in this game in Texas, but again, this is another game. 12 points, putting 12 points on Texas. I don't know if Texas is 12 points better than anybody in this bracket. So with that being said, that's another game you might want to look at making some money and taking those points. But I'm gonna go Texas to win this game. But I will say this: Sam Macho, got to give a shout out to him. He was one of the few people who took a chance and said that Clemson will win not only this game, but the whole bracket. He doubled down
Oh
on
wow.
that. Clemson is going to win the whole bracket. I guess he's looking for the excitement that you're looking for, Lady E. Make it worth having these 12 teams here and let one of these teams get 1 or 2 wins. I'm 1 or 2 wins would be good for me. But if they win it, I mean, hey, now they'll be talking about 16 teams next year.
Exactly. I'll be honest with you. Exactly.
We'll have
Um,
4 or 5 lost teams up in here.
but no, I can definitely see Clemson winning. I will tell anybody, don't underestimate them. I mean, they gave SMU a run. They came out swinging in the first half, even all the way into the third to the late fourth quarter when SMU started putting it together and started coming back. So I'm not like the thing about Texas that a lot of like you said, a lot of people have concern is about the quarterback position because of the inconsistency. Some people are thinking that they're going to put Archie out there and really think that Archie is going to bloom. My thing about it is they tried that with Georgia and it didn't succeed. But again, Georgia's defense is different than Clemson's defense. But with Georgia playing Clemson at the beginning of the year, I'm not going to sit over here and say that Clemson has a bad defense. They did lose some.
That was a tight little game. That was a tight little battle early on.
Exactly, it really was. It really was. So
Don't
I'm
forget,
not.
style make fights. Styles make fights, and if I think Clemson has the ability to possibly get into somewhat of a shootout, but also they can
Mm-hmm.
slow the game down a little bit and they can grind it out. They've got a solid running back, and then Klubnik has shown the ability to run the
Yep.
RPO game. So they have an offense that can slow it down a little bit and possibly keep Quinn Ewers and that high powered offense of Texas off the field. So interesting game. Going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
No, definitely. That's why I said I'm gonna again. I'm going for the underdog. I'm going for Clemson. I'm just saying because I'm not. I'm one of those ones like don't be shocked. Don't be shocked. But now we got the last game:
Yeah.
Tennessee versus Ohio State.
Uh,
They are going to the horseshoe. Tennessee fans thinking they finna sit over here
mm,
and do what Georgia fans did back in the gap when we went up there and played Notre Dame and we took over the stadium.
mm.
I don't know about that.
They said they got the call. They went online. They little senator, they little congressman, whoever they was in there talking about he want to pass a bill against flag planting. He should have been doing some type of cybersecurity type bill to keep them from getting that discount code on them tickets. They say Tennessee volunteer fans coming up there in droves. And let me tell you something else. I've been to Tennessee a couple different times.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Nothing they fully extended. I don't know. I don't know, but it does get a little cold there. It's not totally warm and just, you know what I'm saying? It ain't all
They
good.
get
It does
snow.
get a little cold. So
They get
with that
snow.
being said, this is a game where this is going to be extremely interesting. I think that Tennessee brings an offensive attack that can definitely um, threatened the Ohio State Buckeyes. Interesting to see
Mm-hmm.
how they're going to attack them. Of course, Michigan did it by pounding the football and playing a strong defensive game. Can Tennessee have match that defensive game plan, if you will, and contain the outside players of Ohio State? I don't know, but at the same time, can that Ohio State defense contain the Tennessee offense, who've shown the ability to run the football this year and have a dual threat running. I'm sorry, a dual threat quarterback. So, very interesting game. I kind of hate the Buckeyes, the numbnuts, however you want to, reference them. And again, I'm not sold. I'm not sold on Will Howard. I'm not sold on him as a quarterback. So this is another one. 7.5 for Ohio State.
These are some close games.
Again, I got my Big Ten bias against my Ohio State hatred, and I'm all off balance right now. I don't know. I might. I'm gonna go numbnuts in this one. I'm gonna go Buckeyes. Unfortunately,
You're gonna go Buckeyes.
Just
Only person I don't trust with Tennessee is Nico. That's it.
See, that's the thing. He hasn't. I haven't really seen him play well in these big games. He did beat Alabama this year, though.
He did.
He did beat Alabama this year.
It was a struggle, but they did.
And then I don't know about Josh Heupel. I don't know about Josh Heupel in these moments either. So
he another James
I don't know
Franklin.
about Ryan. I don't know about Ryan Day in these moments either.
I'll be honest with you. I can't really pick this game because this game is a toss-up. I'm like you. I got an SEC bias. I can't stand Tennessee, but it's just like I don't know.
I feel like on paper, Ohio State is the better team, right? But we just seen them on paper be the better team and lose. I mean, low key, they could possibly be the better team when you look at them in Oregon, but they lose these games, and I think I'm gonna say they lost for the next round. I think I'm gonna say they lost because they're gonna slip and fall. They're gonna catch a banana peel and slip up and fall. They're gonna Charlie Brown this thing for sure.
Oh wow, he said Charlie Brown.
It's just about when it's gonna happen. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna have my Stephen A. have. They like the Cowboys. You know what I'm talking about? It's just about when it's gonna happen. They gonna fuck this thing up. There ain't no question about that. You know what I'm saying? They the Buckeyes. I mean, they the numbnuts. That's what they here for. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
The numbnuts.
But I'm gonna give them some grace in this very first game and say that they will beat Tennessee in a close one. But again, man, listen, I might put 2 or 3 different parlays, and I may take 1 or 2 of these games with these points. Because again, I wouldn't be surprised if SMU wins. I wouldn't be surprised if Indiana wins. I wouldn't be surprised if Clemson wins or Tennessee. I mean, these games are toss-ups for real.
So your picks for that with the top 4 that's sitting there. Who do you have? So you have Ohio State making it to play Oregon again.
Yeah, listen, they will probably lose the 3rd time this season. Yeah,
understandable.
That's what happened. Yeah.
So then you're picking Notre Dame.
Okay.
To go up against Georgia.
And I got Georgia.
Okay. Then for Boise State, for Boise State, you got Penn State going up against them.
Penn State going up against Boise. See, we ain't gonna be here next week. You just done jumped into. We ain't gonna be here for next week. We giving y'all next week's show right now. I ain't know, but listen here. We gonna give it to you right now. Listen, JT, I'm not gonna say you was robbed. You just came out in the wrong year, my boy. You just came. It's just the wrong year. Travis is a beast, man. You know. My girlfriend of his almost lost the high. He lost the Heisman amongst the male folks out here. She lost the Heisman. She done fumbled the Heisman for him. But we understand, you know what I'm saying? God is willing. We're gonna leave it to his mama and daddy and the elders to guide him along this journey. But with that being said, listen here, man. I want John T to run for 185 yards, 230 combined, 2 or 3 touchdowns, and I think that they upset Penn State. At least make it a close game, but you got to make it worth it. You got to show us why you're here. You got boys. The last time y'all was here, y'all did a little trick play. Y'all won again. Y'all got to win the game, or else y'all they may not give y'all no group of 5 love for a minute. So listen, if you're supposed to be special, if you're supposed to be the man almost as good as Reggie Bush and Barry Sanders and all these other folks, you gotta carry these boys to a win. Now, I did like what Boise State's defense looked like the last time out. So, again, because Penn State has some of these challenges offensively, They got a strong tight end over there.
Yep.
They have a strong running game. But again, I want to see a consistent outside threat, which I don't see consistently from them. I think Drew Aller can be put into some situations where he can make mistakes. So with that being said, I would love to see Boise State upset Penn State in that second round.
Ooh, okay. And
And
then we
that'll be at
got
Boise, right? That'll be at Boise, right?
that'll be a boy. Well, they actually
Mhm.
be in the in one of the New Year's Six games. So I forgot which one that they got because I know we have the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans.
Oh,
Yeah, so they're at home right now, but then they're going to be playing in the bowl games in that top four.
okay. That brings a little different. That brings a little flavor to it.
Very bring a little different flavor. Then
So
you got Arizona
Boise being a
State.
Fiesta Bowl. So where is that at? That's in Arizona, right?
I think Aiden in Florida.
No, I think the Sugar Bowl is in New Orleans. The Rose Bowl is in Cali.
Mm-hmm.
The Peach Bowl is in Atlanta. I
Yeah,
want to. I want to say the Fiesta is in. Let me look that up. I want to say it's in Arizona. I mean, if you giving them, I mean, if you got Boise out there, I hope it's in air. I hope it's somewhere out there. Fiesta Bowl.
I could have sworn I thought it was in Florida. Let me see.
That's in Glendale, Arizona. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Okay. Well, yeah, and it'll be wonderful weather for everybody. Hopefully, you folks from Boise can get out there. Yeah, come on, Boise, do
Yep.
something.
And then you got Arizona State, who is going to get the likes of the Clemson versus uh Texas game.
Hmm. Well, I'm gonna tell you what. I like what I saw from Arizona State, but I think that they, unfortunately, are gonna be probably one and done in this. If Clemson wins this game, though, I think they have a greater chance of beating Clemson than Texas. But again, Texas is very susceptible. They haven't played anyone.
Mhm.
Um, and again, it wouldn't surprise me if they lose in either round. But with that being said, I think Arizona State's probably one and done. They just Cinderella. They're Cinderella who's not gonna get no love. The
Mm.
slipper gonna fall off early.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
I can definitely see that. I can definitely see that. So you already know I'm going like I really couldn't pick between Texas, Tennessee, and Ohio State. I would love to see the rematch against Ohio State and Oregon, but I would love to see Tennessee up against Oregon. But I think I'm going to lean a little bit towards Ohio State just for that rematch.
Okay.
I already picked Indiana to play
Okay.
Georgia. For Boise, I can see Penn State, but I'm going SMU.
Okay. Okay.
That had those two small schools battle it out with each other. That would be a very
SMU
good.
and Boise. Who would you take? Well, okay, I'm sorry. You got all four. You haven't got you got all
Oh
four of
well,
yours?
Arizona. I was gonna go with Clemson with that one,
Okay.
with Arizona State. But going back to Boise, I feel like that would be a good battle in the trenches. Very good battle in the
That's
trenches.
SMU and Boise.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that'll be a dream matchup for well, I don't want to say group of five because SMU is no longer in a group of five in the ACC, but I mean because they still kind of carry that name
Game,
recognition.
yeah.
That'll be a dream matchup for the smaller schools. I thought it'll be a dream matchup for the ACC if they were to get one or two teams because you got to realize that a lot of the bias that has been built up,
Mm-hmm.
especially from the ACC, the SEC, and the Big Ten. And I give the SEC a lot of credit because they have had some dominant teams like um, Georgia and Alabama who won it. And
Yeah.
sometimes you can say, well, yeah, they're top heavy. They got these one teams who dominated, but they have had teams like LSU who popped up here and won the championship. You have Florida who had a run. So you've had some
Yeah.
Auburn, they had a run. So you have some of these other teams who've had the runs. You build up your equity through these playoff games and through these bowl
Mm-hmm.
seasons. So if a team like SMU and or Clemson win one round or two rounds in this playoff, it gives their conference cachet to say, hey, maybe we weren't as soft as you guys
I
thought we
thought it
were.
was. Yeah.
We got a couple of wins. Y'all didn't want us to have two teams in here. We got two teams in here and both our teams have gotten wins in this thing. So again, this is where you build up your cachet. A team like Arizona State for the Pac, well, where they at now?
They in the Big 12, but yeah, you can say a
the
Pac-12 team.
Big 12, Big 12. They need to build up their cachet as well. So yeah,
Yeah,
for them, if they can get them a win over, some anybody in this tournament, that again will kind of help the cachet for the Big 12. So very eager to see how these games kind of work out for the next 2 weeks, man. It's crazy,
yeah,
man. Happy holidays again to everybody, man. Shoot, I hope
yep.
everybody's in the house.
Scatterboo.
I'm having a hard time getting. I've been to 2 funerals the last 2 weeks. I'm having a hard time getting there. But I'm gonna put the tree up today. We're gonna turn some music on. We're gonna get the Temptations going up in here. And we hopefully, Sam, we're gonna get the spirit going on. But I'm happy to be here with y'all, baby.
Oh, trust me, I'm still. I was gonna put up my big tree, and I said, "Nah, I'm just gonna put up the small little tree, and we're gonna call it a day." Cause I don't feel like taking the big tree down. Do not feel like doing that. All right. So we are going to move in. It is NFL time, not for long. We ain't gonna stay here not for long. We got game time to be at. But let's get into the NFL. So first, let's start with the playoffs. Let's start there. Let's start with the playoffs. Where everybody is going to be at, where everybody has locked up. What are we kind of seeing right now? I'm gonna say right now, my team got to win out. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So we ain't got to talk about me right now. You know what I'm saying? But
We're gonna talk about you. We're gonna talk about you quick, fast, and in a hurry. We're gonna talk about you.
we gonna be here quick, fast, in a hurry. But no, um, the race is still on in the NFC North. Right now between Minnesota and Detroit. Philadelphia trying to get it. They trying to come in and
They
come
right
get
there.
it.
They right there. They right there. I
So
can't front.
So
I can't
yes,
front.
it's getting very interesting in the NFC. AFC North it's already kind of picturing out that more than likely it's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs that are going to have number one, probably followed by the Buffalo Bills. I don't have it in front of me right now, but that's kind of what we're looking at. I know the AFC North is still figuring it out and fighting it out right now too, as well. So and then Texans just won the division.
Yeah, it looks like the Texans and the Steelers are kind of battling it out for that third or fourth
Third
seed.
spot. Okay.
Um, Steelers are 10-4. They play Baltimore this week. Houston is 9-5. They play Kansas City. We're gonna talk about those games coming up. But yeah, those are pretty much the races in terms of divisional winners over in the AFC. Um, Tonight's game is very, very pivotal in terms of the wild card. So we're gonna talk about that coming up. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
because
coming
that's
down, man. It's coming down to the nitty gritty here, man.
yeah, because the Chargers can technically take the second place in the AFC West.
Yes, Chargers are currently 8-6. Denver Broncos are 9-5. So yeah, they are playing for technically the second place in that division. Yeah.
Gotcha. So, how do you feel about your division? Because I know that game last week was not the game that you guys wanted, and not the game that you guys were looking for. And we're not gonna get into it too much because I'm not gonna. I'm trying to keep you in a happy mood. But what do you feel that your chances are? Because again, you guys have been injury ridden for the past. Every time you go into a game, you just crossing your fingers for real, and hoping that you guys come out healthy. And it's not good news coming out of this last game with Montgomery. So what are you feeling coming up close on the end of the season?
Man, listen, we're limping. We're limping into week 16, man. Literally limping into week 16. But I still feel confident. When you look at the schedule, we have Chicago, San Francisco, and Minnesota. If we handle our business, that Minnesota game is to be, for the division and for the number one seed.
Yes.
In the conference. I'm not sure exactly where we are in terms of conference wins. I believe we're number one right there, so we'll hold that tiebreaker if we were to end up with that record. But with that being said, you look at Philadelphia, they've got Washington this week and a couple more games, and they're one game back. You look at Minnesota. I think their schedule is a little bit light as they go into these last three games. But again, though, we play each other in week 18. So it could come down very much to that game. But we're just trying to handle the business, get through our games. I don't know if it's going to be a shootout every game now. To me, it feels like we're going back to year one of Brad Holmes when we didn't have anything whatsoever defensively. At that point, we didn't have nothing offensively. But luckily, we got some offense. We got Ben Johnson. I would say play complementary football, but at this point in time, our defense just needs to be able to stop someone and just hold them down, hold them to 25, and hold them to 24, hold them to 27. I guess I don't know, but
Yeah.
hopefully we can get some of these bodies back in terms of
Mm-hmm.
Montgomery. He did seek out, like, I think this was his third opinion, and he opted against getting surgery on his knee. He's going to try to rehab it. So I
Mm-hmm.
think the expectation or the hope is that he may be back sometime during a playoff run, but we'll see how it goes. Right now, man, we got the next man up mentality, and I hate that we are so banged up and so beat up, but I'm kind of okay with us not being the league darlings anymore. We lost that game
Mm-hmm.
after winning 11 straight. I think we kind of needed to be knocked down back to reality. I think us as fans, as well as the players, were reading into our own press clippings a little bit too much, and we needed to be knocked down. Now, with that being said, we didn't need to lose Aleem McNeil, Carlton Davis the third, you know what I'm saying, and David Montgomery for an extended
Yeah.
amount of time.
The
But
time.
with that
Yeah.
being said, we got a couple of guys coming back. If Melifonwu was practicing with us, I think if he can come back and give us some valuable snaps at safety, that will allow us to possibly move Brian Branch to more so of a role, sometimes in the nickelback position, possibly
Mm-hmm.
give us the ability to move Amik Robertson to maybe some of the outside corner spots. Again, we're just trying to cover holes, man. We got leaks going everywhere, and we're just trying to cover holes right now. So eager to see him come back. Have heard good news in terms of Josh Pascal and Levi Onzuriki. So they came back last week. They got through last week's game pretty well. So we got some bodies up front. Linebackers are still kind of at the, iffy. We had a
Mm-hmm.
backup, Mr. Nowaski is his last name. He was out with a concussion last week. One of our best coverage linebackers, and again, we got exposed. We got exposed last week against Josh Allen. Couldn't contain him. Couldn't put pressure on the quarterback, and couldn't cover those wide receivers once CD3 went down. So limping into the end, man. That's how I'm doing it, man. Next man up, and hopefully, what I'm saying, we can win these next games.
Understandable. Understandable. So with that, and with you saying that Minnesota actually, right there, right behind you guys on your heels. What do you think that you need from Philadelphia to do to kind of let you guys have that number one spot? Like, what do you kind of expect for them to do? Because they've been on a roll. They've been looking great,
First
and
of
they've been
all,
on
now
a roll.
first of all, I need these commanders, these commander fans who've been talking all this JD5, all this we special, all this we coming, you know what I'm saying? We here now. This now. We going to Super Bowls. I need these folks to stop talking and start walking during some of these big games. They play Philadelphia this week. You know what I need from them? I need a victory. I need a win. I don't want to hear about who good Terry McLaurin's best year ever and all
Mhm.
that. I want to see it. Give me a week 16 victory, and I will give you your kudos. That's what I need. And we need to handle our business against Chicago. But that's what I need.
Mhm.
I need the folks who keep talking about they contenders to be contenders and stop being pretenders in these contenders games.
Hey, understandable. But I hate to say this because the Falcons need the Washington Commanders to take a L. So it's a battle, y'all. Battle. It's a battle right now. But no, let's pop over to the AFC North real quick because that's a very interesting division right now. Even with Joey Burrow and them trying to make some type of comeback and trying to make a way, who do you think is coming out of that division?
Oh, I think it's definitely. I mean, I know Joey's going to try to make a valiant effort. I think that they may come up a little bit short. But I think Pittsburgh is going to come out that division. I think Baltimore can still win it. I don't know when George Pickens is
Mhm.
going to be back healthy, but Pittsburgh needs him as part of their offense to be basically an effective, complementary, fully balanced
Mhm.
team. You know what I mean? Without him, I think that they're severely limited offensively. So Pittsburgh and Baltimore are definitely coming out. In what order? I don't know. This week's game is going to definitely tell a lot. Um, Cincinnati, I think they're going to come up a little bit short. And when I look at them, I mean, you got two teams. You got Pittsburgh and Baltimore definitely coming out of the North. You got Buffalo coming out of the East for sure. Houston coming out of the South. Kansas City coming out of the West, and then you've got Denver and the Chargers basically battling for that seventh spot. I don't know if Cincinnati can catch those teams. Both of those teams are sitting at 8 or 9 games right now.
Mm-hmm.
They win this week again. Somebody's going to lose from them. It makes it interesting, but someone also is going to win. So
So
um,
yeah.
it's going to be tough for them.
So how do you feel about that benching with Jameis and then playing DTR? Like, how do you feel about that with the Browns? Is that like a desperation move, or that's just them trying to see what they have?
I think it's a desperation move. I think it's also them trying to see what they have. Maybe not in a starting capacity, but seeing if he's going to be worth a backup. I think also,
Mm-hmm.
when you look at that situation, I don't know what they're going to do with Deshaun Watson, but when you look at Jameis Winston, even his up and down uneven play has been pretty much on par, or
Mm-hmm.
as good as Deshaun. Maybe not statistically as good, but when you look at them being competitive and winning games, to me, he's just as competitive. The team is just as competitive with him at the quarterback position as Deshaun, and because he's such a lovable, likable guy, I think
Yeah.
that they wanted to sit him down because they didn't want to create any dissension in that locker room. They still want to kind of see. I think they still want to kind of see what they have with Deshaun. It's going to be hard to get off of that contract or whatever. So they're going to be stuck with him until it comes to either the end of the contract or they cut him. So Jameis, I think, unfortunately, is locked into a forever, high level, high to mid level
Mm-hmm.
in this league. He's not going to be someone you're looking at starting your franchise with or building around. At the very
Yeah.
most, he's going to be a bridge. You know what he is, so get him out the way, see what DTR is, and see if you can salvage something with Deshaun, I guess.
And that's a pretty honest. Again, we always say we're looking at to the AFC North, and there's always some issues and everything going on over there. So let's turn our focus back to the NFC. I'm going to talk about the West a little bit with the playoff contention. Seattle Seahawks are still up there. Again, Geno and them are playing par. You got the Rams and the 49ers. Well, you might as well say all three of them are chasing for that number two spot. I don't even want to just say the 49ers or just the Rams, because the Cardinals can still sneak their way in some way, somehow. Um, so what do you think about the West? I mean, we haven't seen the West. Now, I'm not going to say look this bad, but we haven't seen the West kind of in a sense be this competitive in a minute.
It's the
Where
Wild
all
Wild West. The Wild Wild West. Currently, right
exactly.
now, I think the Rams. Currently, I think they are 8-6. Both of them in Seattle 8-6, but I think they're getting the nod because they have the 5-5 record in the conference right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think Seattle is 4-5. But again, they got a tough game against the Jets this week. Um, it's going to come right down to it. I do like the way that the NFL has scheduled these divisional games to come down the pipeline with, so these games have meaning. Folks are not sitting teams of sitting guys as quickly as they were before. Part of that is because of the parity in the league. We do have
Yeah.
teams who are playing for playoff position right up to the end of the season, so I think that's cool. But again, I don't know, man. I think when you look at the Rams, when you look at Seattle, both of those teams are dangerous teams, and we look at the playoff race. Um, I wouldn't want to play either of those teams if we don't end up winning the NFC North ourselves. We can find ourselves at the fifth
Yeah.
seed, which would mean that we could be possibly going to somewhere like LA or like Seattle, whoever wins, or possibly Tampa Bay. So all those teams right now seem to be playing pretty well. And in terms of the West, I look at it right now. I like the way the Rams are playing. I like the way Seattle is playing. Seattle's got a tough game against Green Bay this week, so that game
Yes.
is going to tell us a lot about the direction of where they're going to go. But any of those three teams, man, the Rams, the Seahawks, or the Buccaneers can be tough outs for anybody in the playoffs. So I wouldn't mind any of those teams falling out of the playoffs. I
I
ain't hating.
completely hear
I'm
you.
just saying. I ain't hating. I'm just saying.
I hear you. So let's talk about the main attraction, the NFC South. You got Tampa Bay leading in the division. You got Atlanta right there, but it's on the outside looking in. And then you just have literally the Saints and the Panthers. Even though Panthers had them a little spark, we can kind of see that spark is kind of gone. And Saints are actually dealing with injuries right now. So the main two teams is really going to be Tampa Bay. And then you have the Atlanta Falcons. Now, I know the spotlight is on the Atlanta Falcons when it comes down to them switching quarterbacks and benching Kirk Cousins.
Mm-hmm.
Seen it on Tuesday. My space
Mm-hmm.
had 1,000 people come in and
Mm.
legitimately want to hear what the sentiments and situation was with us benching Penix. I mean, not benching Penix, but benching Kirk for Penix. And this was a call a lot of people wanted to see, specifically after the Broncos game when he did come in and step in. They thought it was going to happen at that point in particular time, and it didn't. The game against the Raiders was a nasty, nasty game, and it really just pretty much solidified that you don't have no choice. You gotta bring in the rookie and see what he can give you, if he can
They took
help
Kirk
you win.
James. They
They
took
they
Kirk
been took the chain.
James.
They been took that chain. They been took that chain. Seriously, they took that chain. They had a presser the other day. Kirk said, it is what it is. You got to play right. He's gonna accept it for what it is. And everybody else is excited for him to get in and see what he's doing. So we play the Giants this weekend. So we're going to
Mm.
see how this goes. Giants defense is not a, pushover defense. They're going to give you the best that they got over there. So we're going to see. A lot of people kind of didn't want him to start this game. They really want him to start at the Raiders game. But again, we're going to see how he does. But,
What week is the Raiders game?
huh?
What week is the Raiders?
Oh, we just played them.
Oh, this past game.
They wanted him to start he wanted to start the Raiders game, but he's starting the Giants game, and we're gonna see. We're gonna see how that works and
How
see
do you
how
feel
that
about it?
goes.
Tell us how you feel about this. Do you feel like you're ready to see him? Do you feel like he's an adequate choice to make in the playoff time, or how do you
If
see
we
this?
were gonna do it, I would have preferred like week 6 or after the bye.
Oh, earlier. Okay, much
Yeah,
earlier.
like a little bit earlier. You know what I'm saying? But again, you couldn't make the judgment call that Kirk was going to play this bad. Some people should have said it should have been evaluated after the Saints game. Definitely should have been evaluated after the Broncos game. But again, they were trying to see if the vet just is going through a slump and see if he can just get out of it. And it just showed in the Raiders game it's not there. So Falcons got to win out, and we need help. We need Seattle, and I think the Rams to drop one or two, hopefully, possibly, and we need Tampa to drop something. Y'all got to drop something. So we're gonna see though. We're gonna see.
Now, who you guys got left? You guys got the Giants this week, and then you got Washington.
Commanders,
Okay.
and then we play
Okay.
the Panthers.
Okay. Okay. Tampa Bay has got Dallas, Carolina, and New Orleans.
Yep.
I got Baker Mayfield in a couple fantasy football league. For all the fantasy football players, hey, listen here. Congratulations if you in the semifinals. Congratulations. Do not forget the football palooza is upon us. We got games tonight. We got games on Saturday. We got games on Sunday. We got games on Wednesday. Merry Christmas. Look for Beyonce on that halftime show in Houston
Yep.
on Netflix. I
Yep.
believe
Yep.
we got games on Thursday. So if you make it through this week, which ends on Monday, I'm sorry, we got Monday Night Football. I forgot Monday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if you make it through the championship, your championship match could conceivably start as quickly as Wednesday. This is the
Wednesday.
first time ever we've done this this Christmas football thing in the middle of the week. So fantasy players, do not forget to set your lineups, man. Check on the injured players, check who's available, check who may be getting sat out for the rest of the season. I want all y'all to win some championship. I'm sorry we didn't have a fantasy minute this year. Hey, we will get better next year and include it. But your boys,
Yes.
yes, sir, me, sir, yes, sir, me, sir. 5 semifinals this week. We praying to the guys. Hook a brother up. Hook a brother
He
up.
trying. He
We need
trying to win the
each other's
money,
shit.
y'all.
You
He
know what
trying
I'm
to win
saying? We
the
trying
money.
to win each other. But hey, fantasy players, don't forget to set your lineup for this week, and hopefully, if you make it to next week, that's all I wanted to say.
Nope. Nope. You
But
are
Mr.
good.
Penix, back to Mr. Penix. So, is he ready? What do you expect?
I just know that stadium finna be real ghetto. It's
Mm,
gonna be a lot of people in there with do rags, and it's gonna
wait
be
a
the
minute.
second
What?
coming of
Okay, oh,
Vic.
Master P. He's gonna be Master P in it.
They're gonna be master peeing it.
Ooh, yes,
I
yes.
I'm gonna fit. It ain't gonna be no limit soldiers. That's what they told you. It's gonna be no more playing GA. I
Uh-oh.
promise you that.
Yes,
So
Master P.
we gonna see tickets skyrocketed. So that just showed right there. How popular this game is, and a lot of people are excited about it. So we're gonna see. I mean, he's working with the wide receivers, so they can get used to him throwing the ball since he's a lefty. And he has some zip to it, and it comes at you hot.
Okay.
Comes at you
Okay.
hot. So they got to get ready for that. So,
Well, I will say
um,
this: he definitely has the weapons around him for him to be successful. He's
mm-hmm.
got, everything that you need: running backs, receivers.
Yep.
Hopefully the offensive line can hold up for him. Hopefully he can see it well. I think this is going to also lead to a little bit more of a conservative game plan, if you will. I don't think you guys threw the ball a lot this past week. I think that probably should be the plan again. Coming up with the Giants, and just try
Mm-hmm.
to get them, slowly acclimated to the speed of the game, and seeing different things, what I'm saying, in real time and not just from the sideline. So I think that'll be key. And then, those next 2 weeks, man, this, I don't want to fast forward to this week. This is going to be a tough game. The Giants,
It is.
they're going through some changes, but defensively, they got a strong front four for sure. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Players on that back end who can make some plays. Tracy and Malik Neighbors have been solid offensively for them. So you guys get through this week, and in the next couple of weeks, man, you got to see how it goes. Strange things have happened. Strange things have happened.
Rangers, Rangers, yeah, exactly. And it's the Falcons. I expect it, to be honest with you. So we'll see about that. We'll definitely see about that since we got everybody buzzing once again. So, but let's dip in and let's talk about tonight's game between Denver and Colorado. I'm going to say Colorado and the Chargers. Let's talk about them. Who do you have in, and what do you expect to see tonight with this divisional clash?
Man, a divisional class. You know what? I was really believing in Jim Harbaugh and what he was, had going on last this year with the Chargers. But I'm not gonna lie,
Mm-hmm.
I think losing Dobbins kind of hurt them a little bit.
Yeah.
I think teams are starting to slowly but surely kind of figure them out. Herbert has been solid, but he's been a little bit injured. His pass
Mm-hmm.
catches have been a little bit inconsistent. So with that being said, I like what I've seen recently from Bo Nix. He's kind of resurrected the career, if you will, of Cortland Sutton out there. He's a viable option
Okay.
outside. They haven't been doing much in terms of running the football. They've been having kind of a committee type situation, but McLaughlin is not going to play tonight, so you're probably going to see a lot of Javonte Williams. Hey, if you want to make some money, he might fall in there for anytime touchdown. So definitely look at him tonight. I think Denver wins this game. I think the Chargers are favorite, but I think the momentum is kind of going Denver's way. They've been playing well, and again, I think the Chargers got kind of exposed last week. They gave up 40 to Tampa Bay and Baker Mayfield. They gave it up on the ground, over 160 yards rushing, and they gave up over, I believe, 280 yards through the air, and 3 touchdowns to Baker Mayfield. So maybe the slipper is kind of falling off for the LA Chargers. So I think I'm gonna go Denver in this game.
Okay. Okay. Like I said, we were going through a struggle. We could have beat the Chargers. We were, Kirk threw that last second pick when we were trying to make a comeback. But I do agree. Lad McConkey's been hurt. One of Herbert's go-to guys, Dobbins getting hurt. Sometimes I feel like the offensive line doesn't give Herbert that opportunity and chance from time to time, and to show that inconsistency. So, um, again, Denver has been rolling. Their defense is actually ranked high. I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but their defense is legit. I will
Yeah,
definitely give them that.
yeah.
I know a lot of people were kind of iffy about Bo Nix, especially with trying to distinguish which Bo Nix we were going to see, Auburn Bo Nix, or were we going to continue to see the Oregon Bo Nix. And I think the Oregon Bo Nix is what we're kind of seeing right now, and kind of giving that. Yes, he's inconsistent, but you can expect that from a rookie coming in there with it. But he has a coach in Sean Payton who believes in him and gives him that encouragement to get out there and do what he needs to do. So I do see Denver actually taking this one. And again, it's still a fight in that AFC West because Denver can definitely stank the place up and lose the next two games. So,
For sure.
um, like like they can stank the place up. So, but I will go Denver tonight. Tonight's going to be a very interesting game still because of the classes of division. Division games are not that easy, regardless of injuries or whatever. People are going to play you the way they're going to play you. So yes, y'all tune in for that. Make sure y'all set up because that's about to start here in a couple of seconds. But
Make
let's
sure you
get to the
got them in
games of
your
the week.
folks in your lineup. If you got your Broncos and your who did we say? The Broncos and the
Those in
Chargers.
charge.
Make sure they're in your lineup.
Get it together. Get it together. So we got the games of the week are Baltimore versus Pitt, KC versus Houston, and then Seattle versus Green Bay. Start with Baltimore versus Pittsburgh. This is the clash of the AFC North. They are fighting for that spot to win the division to solidify their spots into the playoffs. Who do you have for that game?
Yeah, I think right now with currently I believe Pickens has not practiced all week. I think if
He's
he
out.
doesn't,
They
yeah, if he
him and Justin Fields are actually out.
oh Justin Fields is out. Okay, so it's all on
Yep.
Russ and Fryer move. With that being said, I don't think that's enough. I don't think that's enough at this time. I think I'm gonna go with Baltimore in this game.
Okay, okay. And like you said, with the offense, you kind of can see that the offense really ain't churning and clicking with Pittsburgh just a little bit because they did struggle a lot last week. So again, I think Lamar and them they're really kind of on a roll right now. So I am going to go with the Edgar Allan Poes um, for this week's game.
Allen
Next,
Coles.
yes, the Edgar Allan Poes. Next we have the Beyonce Bowl because as Beyonce fans are not caring about Casey in Houston, they just care about her halftime special. So for anybody that just doesn't care, we're going to talk about the Beyonce Bowl with KC versus Houston. Houston already solidified their spot as
Mhm.
division winners. Now they're trying to solidify and get a higher seed over in the playoffs. KC again, Patrick Mahomes day to day. But they might get some relief later on down the line. I'm not sure if he can come back by Wednesday, but they already said Hollywood Brown could be making his season debut here pretty soon. Again, KC still has a great defense. It's just right now, with the struggle with knowing that your star quarterback is hurt a little bit, and he's kind of day to day. I'm not sure what the game plan is from Andy Reid because Patrick is not a statue quarterback, so we're going to see about that. But how do you feel about Houston against that KC's defense?
You know
CJ
what?
Stroud.
I was a little worried when they said that Mahomes was hurt, but he's I think he's
Mm-hmm.
got two full practices in this week.
Okay.
I think they're just going to keep winning. I think this is going to be a tight game. I'm hoping that this is somewhat of a get right game for CJ Stroud. Houston has a tough defense. I think though that they're going to put some points up on the board. They're going to make this a very very interesting game. But I think Kansas City is just going to continue to find a way to win.
Okay. Do you think that with the loss of Diggs, that kind of put a hurt on their plans, and even kind of like with the injuries to Nico earlier in the season, do you think that kind of stopped Houston from being the Houston that we saw last season?
I think the loss of Diggs I think really really hurt. They definitely were rolling with him. I think he brought a different dimension to there. Then also with losing Nico for those I think 3 or 4 games that probably messed with some of their chemistry with that. But still though, you still would like to see CJ take that next step. I just don't think that he took it this year. I don't think he really totally regressed or took a huge step back, but I just don't think he took that next step. And I think teams are a little bit, were a little bit more prepared for him this year. So, with
Mhm.
that being said, though, losing a veteran presence like Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell isn't having the same year that he had last year. So maybe the weapons are a little bit different, but again, they're doing it a little bit different way this year. Mixon is having a strong year. He got the,
Yeah.
he hurt his ankle as well, and he missed a couple of games this year. So I think it has been, you can probably, can look at chemistry as being possibly a problem for them. So these next couple of games could be very, very important for them kind of to build that chemistry going into the playoffs.
Okay. Well, we're gonna see because KC defense with Chris Jones sitting right there leading that defensive line can give you problems because once
And
he
they
find
yeah.
one of your linemen he can pick on, he gonna pick on 'em.
They tough. They tough. I'm hoping my boy Mixon can somehow fall into the end zone 2 or 3 times this week. They
Yes.
don't need. I mean, if he get a bunch of yards, that's cool. But I want y'all to get close and just let him fall into that end zone once or twice for me. You know what I'm saying? Once or twice.
I
That's
feel,
all we ask.
I feel you. I
Yeah, we
feel
got to
you.
manifest this type of stuff right now.
Yeah.
Manifestation.
Manifestation. Okay. Look, I see what you're doing right there. Okay. So the last game, that's a big game, is going to be a tell-all game. Also, it's going to be the Seattle Seahawks versus the Green Bay Packers. Um, Remind me who Green Bay played last week. For whatever reason, their team is
Uh,
slipping my brain.
who did I play? Hold on a second. I'm sorry.
No,
Green Bay.
I wasn't in a division
Was
game.
it Chicago? Because it
Was it
wasn't
Chicago?
Minnesota. They won last week, so it was. I don't think it was either one of those. Let me see. Hold on. Let me get
I
it. Let me
think it
get it.
was Chicago.
Was it Chicago?
I think it was.
Let me see. Let me see. They blew some. Because my man had a wonderful game. It was
No,
Seattle.
actually,
They
hold
beat
on.
Seattle.
Yeah, because it was week 15, right?
Yeah.
Oh wow, this is crazy.
Hold on. Wait a minute. What am I looking at? Hold on. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
Green Bay actually played the Saints.
I'm sorry. I put the wrong game down there. That might have been from last week. Excuse me, moi.
Um,
Yeah, they beat Seattle last week. That was last week, 30-13.
hey, look, y'all. Don't mind Henry. He slept since then.
But guess what though?
Oh,
But yeah, they helped y'all out.
yeah, but we need him to take another one. We
I'm sorry.
need
I'm sorry. That should be Seattle versus Minnesota. That's the problem.
see.
They're
Okay,
playing
Seattle versus
Minnesota this week.
Minnesota.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
Excuse moi. Excuse moi.
okay. He was still stuck on last week.
Mm-hmm,
Okay,
mm-hmm.
so let's talk about Seattle and Minnesota.
Game is
Seattle
in,
and Min-
game is in
Seattle and
Seattle.
Minnesota. So you need Minnesota to lose, don't you?
Yes, I do. I need Minnesota to lose. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? But listen. I know what y'all need. And listen, I don't even care what happens. I know we play them in week 18. So y'all can, listen, y'all can do y'all thing. But listen, the way Minnesota is playing right now, I can't lie. Defense is balling. Sam Darnold looked like the second coming of Tom Brady or somebody. Kirk Cousins reincarnated. I mean, they look good. I can't lie. They rolling right now. Aaron Jones just
Mm-hmm.
scored a touchdown in the last 4 games. They
Yeah.
may do Seattle now. Geno Smith was hurt, but I believe he's practiced again both days fully.
Okay.
So he it looks like he's on track to play in this game. I think DK Metcalf is going to play in this game. I think Kenneth Walker is going to play. So again, fantasy players who have rode the back of Zach Charbonnet the last 2 weeks, he may be back in a complimentary role this week. So definitely keep track of those injury reports. And again, we got football on a number of days this week. So don't just wake up on Sunday thinking you might have a full slate. You done missed 2 games on Saturday, a game on Thursday. So again, be aware of all the games. Now let me ask you this. I know we talking NFL, but how do you feel about the college playoff and the NFL games happening on the same day? I was kind of like, dang, that's a little bit too much.
Well,
I mean, I
well,
can deal with it, but that's a lot.
it's funny that you say that because if you looked and noticed, the college games are actually going to be played on Max and TNT,
Hmm.
especially on Saturday because NBC is already taken, Fox is already taken. The
Interesting.
last 2 games, which is Ohio State and Tennessee, and then you had Clemson and Texas, are actually at 8. I think 8 or 8:30, and they're both at the same time.
They're both at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, they're both around the same
Wait a
time.
minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. You sure? Wait a minute. I thought one was at no. I think one is at 12. I think one is at 4, and one
Hold
is
on,
at 8.
let me double check. Okay, so they are
Because
at 4. So then
the
it might
game on
be
one game is tomorrow.
when we actually start getting into the playoffs where they actually have them at the same time.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting.
So we're I mean, again, we're going to see because you still got your regular class of bowl games going on with like the Gasparilla Bowl, the Pop Tart Bowl, all of those good little bowls are still going to be going on while these big games are going on. So,
And again, let me
because again,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was going to say, because again, even with those teams playing, literally you have Syracuse and Washington State that plays at 8 p.m. on Fox. And then you have Indiana and Notre Dame that plays tomorrow on Fox.
And
Wait, hold
again,
on,
for
I'm
my
jumping ahead.
fantasy
I'm jumping
football
ahead.
players, week 17. If you get through this week, there are games on Wednesday. 2 games: Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Baltimore, and Houston. Seattle and Chicago play Thursday. That's a big game for you, Lady E. Seattle,
Mm-hmm.
Chicago. Saturday, there are games: Los Angeles at New England, Denver at Cincinnati, Arizona at the Rams. So again, a lot of fantasy pertinent players are in those games, and then you have the game Sunday. Again, another slate of games on the 28th that are going to be when the playoffs are happening as well. So very interesting, man. This these next 2 weeks. Hey,
It's football.
all you can want with football. We got a little basketball mixed in there too. You know what I'm saying? So if you're a sports
NBA on
fan,
Christmas. Yep.
hey, Christmas in there again. Merry Christmas, happy holidays to your families and all. Hey, make sure you guys spend time with your families. Tell your loved ones that you love them, how much they mean to you, man. Take some time for yourself. Recharge for
Exactly.
2025, baby. Recharge for 2025.
Exactly. So I know DT is not here, but he did give his college football picks as well. He has Notre Dame, Penn
Mm-hmm.
State, Clemson, and Ohio State
Okay, he picked
winning.
Clemson. Okay, okay,
So he picked
okay.
Clemson with that. So we're gonna see games are tomorrow, but y'all, like I'm gonna echo what Hen said. Make sure y'all enjoy y'all family. Have a happy and safe I'm about to say Halloween. Look at me. That's that Scorpio trying to come out.
That's okay.
Merry
That's okay.
Christmas.
We there.
Yeah, look, if you celebrate Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate,
Happy holiday.
in regard. Again, by the time we see y'all again, it will be 2025 because we are going on like a little break. So, and that's when all the NFL and college playoffs and everything are going to be like set and ready to go. And we're going to be ready to go because as soon as the NFL season ends, we are going to start jumping into the draft and
Oh,
start
man.
this scouting process
I'm
all
so
over
happy.
again.
I haven't done one mock draft. Oh, you know what? I'm so happy. I don't know none of the young players, and it feels good.
Well,
It feels
well,
good. I
well.
don't know none of the young players.
Next year we will actually have a guest come on, and actually give us his insight of some of the top players that he's feeling can be top and go and kind of build our mock drafts from there. So y'all stick tuned, stay tuned. We are going to be doing it big in 2025. Do you hear me? All right, y'all gotta understand that. But with that being said, this is your girl, Lady E. That's C Hen. We about to get out so we can go start putting up our Christmas tree because as you can see, we late.
We like,
We
we
late.
like.
But shout out to them Lions, ATL. I see y'all. Shout out to that boy MPJ. Because they're gonna have everybody wearing a do-rag. I'm finna be at home rubbing my feet together. But we'll holler at y'all. See y'all in 2025.